All right, everybody. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but you know how it is sometimes. But we sure do appreciate you for coming on this beautiful evening here in the ATL. We also, our guest is from California on the West Coast. We thank her so much for her time and her patience as she understands how things can be. We want to welcome you to the Chit Chat Chew Show podcast, where I am your co-host, Aisha, affectionately known as Jade.
And I'm your other co-host, Uno, of the Chit Chat Chew Show podcast.
So this evening, we're going to take a little time and we're going to get to know our guest. Her name is Destiny Robbins, and she is a spoken word artist. She poetry, she's an author, and I'm sure she is so much more. And she's going to just let us into her world some so that we can know who and what she's about. Thank you, Destiny, for joining us. I follow you on game, but you were doing poetry and he was interviewing you. I think he's from Atlanta, and he was doing a Facebook Live on his page, and it'll probably come to me. But yeah, that's where I really saw you and was impressed with who you were, what you were about, and your vision on where you're going. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. And I actually remember exactly, it was the Black Virtual Marketplace, and we were on there.
Yes.
About Black economics, and we connected. So I'm very thankful.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I love watching when I can. I love watching his shows or his videos as well, because they're very, very important. And we're going to talk about Black economics some when we get more into this. But I would like for the listeners to know who you are. So I'm going to be reading the bio, but you can also on our website, which is www.chitchatchewshow.com. You can further read it again. You can truly get into it. So Destiny is an award-winning spoken word artist known for her motivational poetry and for being a champion for change. Some of her performances involve collaborations with local musicians. She recently won a Spoken Word Artist of the Year award through the Northern California Entertainers Music Award Show. Destiny currently a finalist in season 11 Prayze Factor People's Choice Awards out of Atlanta, Georgia. Destiny makes regular appearances on 97.5 KDEE FM as a reoccurring guest co-host. Her poems are also played in rotation, other terrestrial and online radio stations. She recently released her new single, Grown and Sexy, which is available on multiple digital media outlets. So that is a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
And that is so awesome. So I would like to, as I've asked previous guests, in general, what is your why for doing what you do?
You know, honestly, I was told to stop saying that's a great question, but it is. It's such a powerful, in-depth question. One of my slogans, I have my children sitting in here with me, and I have to keep reminding them we're interviewing. We're live.
That is okay. That is truly okay.
It's actually
we've had probably dogs and other children, so it's fine.
Yeah, we all kind of noise in the background.
It is okay.
So we used to it.
Yes, absolutely.
This is a free-flowing show. We wanted to be natural, so hey.
Okay.
Don't mind it.
Just be yourself. If your children pop their head in, that is okay with us.
It's all good.
I appreciate that. You know, and it's actually really perfect because it definitely comes to a part of my why. You know, the minute I became a mother, I really realized that for me, I had to do something about the way of the world. Actually, I grew to be enlightened about what was going on in our communities, inequalities, certain issues that just don't get light shed upon them. But prior to that, like I was going to say, my slogan is walking your destiny. So I live to be an example of overcoming obstacles, adversity, just different things that we go through as people that might, get us off track. I want to help keep people on track by reminding us who we are, that we're powerful, that we're mighty, that we're amazing. And so me becoming a mother really helped with that, because it enlightened me to more of what was going on. It wasn't about me anymore. It's about our generations. It's about, our brothers and sisters. How do we uplift each other? Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, you absolutely right. I mean, because you can't be selfish if you're trying to do something positive and really move, like, just the world, but, just, the community. Like, yes, you have to think outside of yourself,
Yes.
because it's not about you. You have to be able to help and impact everybody. Try to help as many people as you can, where it could be beneficial to their lives. But see, people, they get sidetracked with their own, whatever they got going on, that they forget what the real purpose is.
That's a really
Absolutely.
good point. And I've been times, you really get bogged down in self in situations. And so what I'm trying to do is encourage us to take those situations and use it as fuel, instead of using it as a reason to, run and hide or to kind of give up or throw in the towel. Why don't we use that to propel forward? Like, I can't quit, I have to use this as something greater, so that's what I try to do.
Yeah, I mean, you have to direct the energy.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, like you said, like, people do have the world on their shoulder, but what can you do about it though? What are solutions?
Right.
And that's where you start solving the problem, when you get to the solutions.
Yes.
And it's absolutely, like, I agree with you guys. Excuse me.
Oh, you good.
We can choose to be negative and be upset all the time and point fingers and blame someone, or again, like you guys said, we can channel that energy in another type of way where it's benefiting all of us. So we definitely have choices.
That's true. Absolutely.
And it is for our future. It's for our future, but I believe it's for our now as well. Like our present right
true.
now.
Yeah.
Because the generations that's coming up, a lot of them are just lost. They have no guidance. There's a lot of talent out here with our youth or our millennials, and it's getting wasted. And we, as our Black and brown brothers and sisters that come before them, we shouldn't be in a position where we're like, well, I got mine, you have to get yours. We really need to support them and give them some type of guidance.
It takes a village.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And Black people lost that whole mentality. Because, like you said, you pretty much summed it up like, oh, I got mine, you got to get yours, because that's how a lot of them think. That's the mentality that's going around in the community every day. Nobody's helping nobody. But then they cry when other races don't want to be bothered with them or help them. But it's not their job to do that. That's our job, not them. We're supposed to make sure we secure and build and elevate our race, not nobody else. That's nobody else's responsibilities but ours.
Absolutely.
We can blame John, Sue, yellow man, purple man, white man all day long, but you still stuck with the problem. So you got to start somewhere.
So absolutely. So he's your PR, Brian? Am I correct with that? Brian's your PR?
He's a part of my management team.
Okay. So thank you, Brian. We definitely want to give shout outs to him. Thank you, Brian, so much If you can please just let us know that you can hear all of us. We really appreciate that, and you're so welcome. It's our pleasure to have Destiny on with us. And that's what it's about, supporting each other, because we can all reap from this, all get the benefits and the good fortune from this. There's a lot of times, and I'm just a natural humanitarian myself. It's just in my DNA. I'm that type of person. I've literally taken the shirt off of my back to give to someone else. And also, if things don't apply to me, then I'm here to share that, because you just never know what a person is going through. A lot of us, I'm truly a believer in entrepreneurship and being business owners, and I believe that it should start young with the younger generation. It should.
Right. But it just need outlets.
They need outlets.
You have to create outlets.
Outlets, resources, and you can't be selfish, because at the end of the day, you're not going to get your blessings for being selfish.
That's true. That's true.
So where did you start, Destiny? What was your first passion that you decided you wanted to try? Was it being the author, or was it being the spoken word artist?
You know what? Funny enough, for me, it did start as a young person. And it did start as someone giving me the chance to have an outlet to express myself and to, just have a voice, have a presence. And for me, it actually, I have conflicting views. I've always been one who loves the art. So I love music. The music playing in the background is actually perfect, because I'm like that. So it's kind of a hybrid between music and theater, actually. I can remember doing my first play at the age of 10, and I did a Shakespeare play. But at the same time, at that same age of 10, they allowed me to sing like the Black National Anthem at the ending.
Yeah.
So it really was kind of a in theater. And shortly after that, poetry came into play, because I began to write and share my and my feelings and emotions. So they kind of all intertwine very quickly.
And that's the beautiful thing about art, because it's so diverse.
Man.
That is just not one particular thing. Art comes in many different forms. I mean, I grew up around music. My mother was in a couple of groups. I've listened to several songs. Matter of fact, my family just in general was very musically inclined, as well as being there was some that were spoken word artists, some that was just gifted as far as drawing, and they've never been to school. So art is just, again, so diverse.
Absolutely.
And I love music. Music definitely feeds my soul. Art does as well, including spoken word. So there's a number of different, I just love art. So any opportunity that I can see it or hear it or just feel it, the vibrations, it puts me in a totally different place. It's soothing. It's like I come out of myself to another kind of dimension just for a little bit before I have to come back and deal with like the real world, so to speak.
It takes you really in another world. It takes you. You're in your own zone, basically. Mm-hmm. That's your world. You're locked in because you're feeling what the music is bringing. It's that frequency.
Right.
It's all about frequency.
Absolutely.
It's what you feed your soul with the frequency, though. Mm-hmm. Because you got high vibrations and you got low vibrations. I mean, aside for some people feed off low vibrational music, that's a whole nother story. But if you do have music that really feeds your soul, that's great. That's definitely art,
Mm-hmm. How young were you when you first started, like spoken word, and how young were you?
Well, I can remember coming up in church, like doing like the church plays, and I actually did like as young as like being in kindergarten, I was in ballet, in Virginia Beach, actually ballet. And I can remember doing competitions as a Prayze dancer. And so, like I said, I can remember being involved in the arts for as long as I can remember, like back to kindergarten. But then, like I was sharing, at about 10, I think I was in like the 5th grade is when I had my first play and singing opportunities. But the first, that's also when I began writing, to where I can really record, like remember that I was actually writing and with a purpose of it being poetic or poetry. But my first time of ever reciting poetry was actually in the 6th grade, and I had just moved to Sacramento, California. So my parents were in the military, so I grew up, moving around a whole lot. So we had just landed in the 6th grade, and it was a talent show opportunity. So I did like 3 different things. I like sang, I played the piano, but one of the biggest moments was getting to write a piece for the veterans. And I stood up, I wrote the piece, and I recited it, and people just, they were in tears. It was a standing ovation kind of moment. And this was in the 6th grade. And shortly after that, 9/11 had happened. And so I had written a piece for 9/11 in like a class that I didn't want to write. I didn't like writing, actually, at all. And I can remember asking the teacher, well, can I write a poem? And she was like, sure. I wrote that piece about 9/11, same thing, just had her in tears. It was moving her because I was really observing the hurt, the feeling, the vibration, like you were saying. Poetry was a mode of feeling and trying to speak up for the people or the situations that weren't being, spoken up for. So I can remember feeling that way in the 6th and 7th grade.
Wow. Yeah, that's what poetry is about. You want to bring something where it's going to move people.
Absolutely.
You really have to be saying something. And that's the same thing to me, similar to music. Like, music gives you a feeling, and you want people to have that feeling.
Yes.
So that's, definitely. So what's the meaning behind One Nation Under God Records? Like, what made you come up with the name One Nation Under God Records?
Okay, so I actually have to give another shout out to Brian Irby, who you all mentioned earlier, or asked about. That's actually his record company. And so he...
All right, well, what made Brian come up with that? Because that's actually an interesting name. That's an interesting name for a record company. I like the name. That's a very strong name for a record company.
That's a statement, right? That's a statement.
Right.
And you know what? I know he's been tuning in, so I'm really gonna have to pay for that conversation, because I never asked that question. But it is I actually
all right, Brian.
I met Brian the same way Jade met me, through Evan Jefferson's his show. And so I've seen him go across there, One Nation Under God Records, and I was like, I want to know more about that, because not a lot of people are declaring that kind of thing. And so
right.
their morals and their principles and the things they stand on, and it's just what drew me. It kind of had me sold after that. So yeah.
Got you. So Brian Irby, please break down what made you come up with the name One Nation Under God Records. Like, give us a whole breakdown and meaning of that record company, because like I said, that's definitely a strong name, and it is definitely making a statement. A very strong one at that. Like, it's very direct and self-explanatory. So yeah, Brian Irby, if you can drop us a comment and give us some tidbit on this record company, please, and thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Do you remember your first piece that you spoke, as far as the spoken word? Do you remember your first piece?
Yes, it was definitely that piece. Well, I don't have it in my memory anymore. But the first piece was the piece about the veterans. And what I will say, too, going back to Brian Irby and this One Nation Under God, I just want to do another little song, because August 31st, he's actually getting ready to drop this Kingdom Citizens album. It's a compilation album with the artists from his record company, or artists that he manages, or artists who have just submitted into the project. So I'm really excited, because this is the first compilation that I'll be a part of. So it has a piece that is very near and dear to me called "Walk in Your Destiny," which is my slogan. I don't know if y'all can really see it on the banner.
I see it.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I was looking behind there. I'm like, okay, she
That's
got a
nice.
little banner going on. I think she doing something. Oh, think you doing something.
I know that's right. Destiny is doing something. She's doing it big. Absolutely.
So,
Do you remember?
Yes.
You can go. So I'm sorry, my apologies. Would you be able? You can pull it, hopefully, from your head a piece. We would ourselves as well as the viewers would love to hear a piece if you can remember one. Whichever one is fine.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say, woo, that was 6th grade.
Right.
Give you my first one ever. but you know, it's funny because my children, I asked them, like, what do you think I should do today, you know, for the show? And so they had a request. There was a piece because there's a piece called Destiny versus the Diva. I used to go by the poetic name Destiny the Diva. And this piece kind of explains why I even went by that name. Now I just go by Destiny Robbins, you know, because I've expanded to authorship and other, you know, forms of entertainment and activism. But I'll give y'all a little taste of Destiny versus the Diva. So,
okay.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. Go ahead.
All right. Can I be honest with you?
Go ahead.
No, that wasn't convincing. No, can I be honest with y'all?
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Yes.
I don't know.
I'm waiting for it. Spit the real now. Give me the real. Come on.
I don't know who I am. Because on the one hand, I'm being forced to conform to the norms of the damned. Let me break this down for you. I am the always aggressive, rarely submissive, book smart, street smart, and very progressive, talented but sexy, freaky but lady, representative of the oxymorons in our society. I am a victim of intersectionality, which means that I'm guilty for being me. That's woman, that's black. Have my back, and I struggle with things that you probably can't imagine, and then you wonder why spoken word is my passion. I have to get it out. How that manifested as me acting like I'm reformed in class, so I've learned to express without effect. But I'm still torn between being a lady without being the starter without asking for more. I'm educated and sophisticated, graduated top schools at the top of my class, but I still like to go to the club and shake my. So this is the answer to the question that you might ask. Who's Destiny the Diva? Well, they're my various masks, my alter egos, if you may, and there are more in line, and they're waiting to come out of me line for line. I said they're waiting to come out of me.
Yay! All right now.
Yes.
Yes. Snap a finger.
Yes, love it. Absolutely. It's been so long, and I'm sure it's been as long for me as it is for Uno that we've been out and heard some really
spoken
word, touching the soul. Right. Elevating you and taking you somewhere else.
We need to go.
We need to go
somewhere. I don't know where.
We need to go. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I believe, are you a California native, or you where is home for you?
Yeah. So a couple years ago, I would not call myself a California native. You know, I kind of tease and say, but I've been here probably since like puberty going up. At first, I just call myself a military brat because literally I've lived in Virginia, North Carolina. I was born in Florida. Not many people know that. I've lived in Japan. You know, I mean, so Cuba. I've lived in many places, but I've literally been here for like half of my life at this point. And we're kind of over to soon. It's going to be a little bit more than half of my life now. So, yeah, California.
That is awesome. I in 2 to 4 years, I don't know if you saw the post, in 2 to 4 years, I'm going back to California. When I left Philly, I'm born in Jersey. raised in Jersey and Philly. And so in 2009, I decided to leave and move to Sacramento first. So I got a taste of what Sacramento was like. And then from there, I wound up, San Francisco was my residence. And I miss California, I have to be honest. But, I make it do what it do as well. I am military brat also. So, I get it. But I like the flow. And like I said, I can make it anywhere. I'm like yourself. I am one of those divas. I'm one of those queens. I'm one of those sassy women too that can just make it anywhere that I'm at. But I'm ready to go back to California. So I'm giving myself 2 to 4 years to get back there. So I'm just really looking forward to it. I'm excited. It's giving me more purpose and reason so that I can continue to do this and do other ventures as well.
Right.
So
rebuild a life there, really.
Rebuild. It definitely will be rebuilding because I've been in Atlanta.
I've been here all my life, but I'm ready for a new scenery, new beginning, new environment. So this will be my first time ever going to California. In the 2 to 4 years that I finally go with you and go to California, yes, that'll be my first time. I always wanted to go to California anyway. Even before I met you, like I always had a dream of going there. So to actually finally go, yeah, I'm excited just as much as you is.
Opportunities are endless. I feel like with anything, you're gonna have your good days, you're gonna have your challenges.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter if you stay on the West Coast or the East Coast or the Midwest.
Right.
Anywhere you go, you can't escape it. It's how you deal with it. It's how you push forward. Because when you're your own boss or an entrepreneur, even with having a job too, but it's something about being your own boss, something about being that entrepreneur. It's
you're more in control of your destiny.
You're more in control, and it's a feeling sometimes that you can't explain.
No, man.
It's a beautiful thing to know, like, okay, I'm a business owner, look at me, or I'm an entrepreneur. They're kind of one and the same, but
you're not working in a set system. You make your own time. You have things how you want it to be. So you're in control of what you do, not someone controlling what you're doing.
Yeah. And it's not knocking the corporate world because it's giving me the chance to get me to where I want to get to, but it's not a place where I want to retire. That I know that.
I understand.
Right. No, I do too. I do. And it's really funny because my dad, actually, his whole side is from Philly, and when y'all do come, I'm welcoming you with open arms. But I'm trying to get to where y'all are at. I'm over here like, oh, California. I love you. I feel like I've done a whole lot here, and I'm ready to spread my wings. Like I'm actually trying to get out there in September for the Prayze Factor People's Choice Awards when you already
okay,
and it's out there in Atlanta. So I'm like. Woo, but like you said, you can make opportunity anywhere, and it's just about
absolutely.
When you're an entrepreneur, you have that flexibility. So that's a great.
Right.
You're welcome. Come on out here.
Absolutely.
That's what's up. Absolutely. Oh, you wanted to say something?
No, go ahead.
Oh no, you good. Go ahead.
Oh, so another thing, as far as you being an author. How young were you when you wrote your first book, and what was it titled?
Okay, yeah, I actually have it. One of the books, the first one that I put out right here, and it's called "Baby, You Should Wait a While."
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, baby, you should wait a while.
Okay, baby, you should wait a while.
Yes, I'm trying.
Can you give us a backstory on this book?
Yes. So I wrote this in 2016. So I was 26. No, I take it back. I published it in 2016 when I was 26. I had actually written it back in 2012 before I graduated college, and I held it. I just let it sit in my computer because of the backstory. what inspired this was the fact that I was a teenage mother. You know, I had my first child, my son. I got pregnant right after I graduated high school. And when I was writing this book, I was pregnant with my daughter, and it was my senior year of college. So I have like this graduation trend, you know, to where I graduate, I try to move to LA. Oh, I'm pregnant every time. So it actually, I'm serious, but you know, it actually.
That's a mother's face, isn't it? That's a mother's face.
Like, what you doing? You don't get you about to do this. You don't get your.
Start gritting the teeth like, go somewhere and sit.
Come here, come say hi. I'm talking about y'all right now. Come on. Now you don't want to say hi because they've been itching to say hi. So I have.
What's going on?
This is
How are you?
Huh?
Derek?
Terrence.
My name is
Terrence. Hi, Terrence.
Hey, Terrence.
Hi, Terrence.
And then that's Nia.
Hey, Nia.
Hi, Nia.
Hello.
All right. So now, go ahead. Okay. So, what made me decide to write about it was the fact that, you know, when I had started, you know, connecting with young men at a very, very early age, and it had a lot to do with, you know, historical reasons that women face, you know, such as abuse and trauma and stuff like that, you know. But regardless to whatever the reason is, peer pressure, trauma, curiosity, whatever it is, you know, a lot of our young ladies and young men are engaging in these activities younger and younger, and they have lifelong, you know, consequences. And so I wanted to shed light. It's like the taboo topic, you know. Oh, we can't talk about what all these kids are doing or hearing in the music or talking about, you know. And so I was like, let's not do that. So I put my poetry in it, and I put my stories in it. I talk about things from pregnancy to STDs to teen dating violence. I talk about a whole lot of different things in here with the poetry. And it's a very it's not preachy. It's kind of like, hey, little sister, hey. I also did a boys one, and it's Baby Boy, You Should Wait a While. I published that the next year. But it's like that. It's just like, hey, little sis, little bruh, let me tell you about what I went through, you know, because I don't want you to
absolutely.
So yeah.
And see, and that's the thing, going back to what we said beginning of the show, helping each other and see how each one teach one. And that's what it's about, because like you said, Jay, they, you know, the younger generation is lost. They have no guidance. They have no one to turn to. And by you doing that could possibly save a life.
Yes.
You know, by giving them game of life. And then what could happen if you go down that wrong path?
Yes. Oh, no,
absolutely.
And I feel like in the Black community, that's what it's well needed. Yes. Like there's just no time for fuck ups. That's just what it is. It's just no time for fuck ups. At this right now, it's critical for Black people to be teaching each other. In the older generation, have to take responsibility, accountability for the things they do. And also whatever they have that they can use to pass down to the next generation, where they don't make the same mistakes, can be helpful to them.
Absolutely. And that's my hope.
Right.
Sorry.
And I can so relate to you, Destiny, because I was a teenage mom with my daughter, and graduated from high school, got pregnant like probably that summer-ish. And, you know, growing up in church, and it's not about, I'm not saying this knocking anything, because I'm appreciative of all the foundations that I received, because it got me to where I'm at today. But, you know, my mom, most of the time the majority of my life raised me. And so I was in a very religious home where you spoke when you were spoken to. You just did those things. It was very strict, and everything that my mom would say don't do, I did it. Just being a teenager, trying it, and had to deal with the consequences, which was I got pregnant. And of course, they shunned me from church and, this, that, and the third, and told me that I was never going to succeed. And I made it my business to make sure I didn't care how long it took me to go to college. I made it my business to prove to them and prove to myself and prove to them that I could do it even with a child. And then, of course, 4 years later, I got pregnant again, same time, because both my kids' birthdays are both in June. They're 4 years and 3 days. All right, if that makes sense. But yeah, and so I can relate, because like myself, I was silent with so many things growing up, because you couldn't tell parents or tell those elders back in the day, like if you got traumatized or if you got touched or anything like that, because a lot of them wouldn't believe it, and a lot of them would even spank you for that. So it took me to have 2 kids, and just that alone really opened me up too about the different trauma, and I'm in a place and space now where I'm not allowing. I say now, when 2018 came in, I said I'm on my recovery, my journey, because I don't want to carry that anymore, because that's not getting me anywhere except for just wind up being flat on my backside. And so at some point in time, our community, our Black and brown brothers and sisters, we have to learn how to heal.
Yes.
We have to learn how to heal. And like you said,
give them the tools to heal and move
right,
forward.
and give them the tools, because mental illness and just going through different traumatic things, we do sweep it under the rug.
We sweep a lot on the rug.
We don't talk about it.
Even pedophilia, because that goes on in the Black community too.
It does, sadly, but it does. And it's nothing wrong with prayer. I am a firm believer in spirituality, because we all come from different places, but I'm a firm believer in general spirituality. But we have to also take other methods as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No. You go.
Good. You good.
Oh, I was just gonna say, some people know this and some people don't, but I'm actually in the mental health profession. And I think that has a lot to do with it, because like you said, I'm very spiritual. I pray, I cry, I meditate, all that. But at the same time, sometimes we need more tools, more support,
right?
Safe places, trusted individuals. And so like y'all said, we have to stop, ignoring these things and sweeping it under the rug. And I'm pretty sure I got led into that pathway to be a game changer, to be a safe space because of what I've been through, So it's
absolutely.
My kids are 4 years apart too, so it sounded like you were going to say something that you facilitate.
Oh, so like you, I part-time, I'm an independent contractor, and I'm in the mental health field as well. And so I facilitate groups through National Alliance on Mental Illness, short for NAMI, here in Atlanta. And so I have all backgrounds come in. I don't discriminate against anyone, because if you need a safe place to come and let just whatever you need to let out, as well as get that support and some resources and tools, I don't care about all that. I want to try to be the best person that I can be towards you, to get you whatever type of help that you can get. So I believe that. And I think that just really growing up, that I've always been, even though I grew up shy, I used to be very shy, believe that or not, but I used to be. And I've always been that go-to person. And like I said, I'm appreciative of all that I've been through to guide me to where I'm at now. But I know that I've had some funky stuff that's going on in my life, and I've carried it for the majority of my life. Like, I have a separate page. I have a Facebook page called Aisha Speaks Jade. There I've spoken on, I live with a mental illness, so I can relate. I no longer am ashamed of that, because it is who I am. I don't allow it to take control of me anymore, even though I do have bad days, but we all do, regardless if we have a diagnosis or not. But I'm very transparent in that. I'm also a suicide survivor. I've been clean for 11 years off of crack cocaine. So I have a story just like you and Uno and so many of us. And it's amazing how when you hear the different stories, a lot of times they're similar.
Yeah.
It's like it's a pattern
it's
that
all
you
a connection
hear.
though.
Right.
It's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Some kind of way. Now the outcomes might be a little different.
Right.
But if you really compartmentalize all of it, yes, like you said, it has a lot of similarities. So yes, there's definitely a connection there. But the thing is, how you gonna deal with that? What are methods to help you through life?
Right.
Whatever challenges that you may face.
And it's sad because I really would like to tap into some more of the churches. Like I'm open to speak wherever. I'm hoping to get into like the juvenile system or just the prison system itself, churches, mosques, but a lot, sadly, a lot of the churches here anyway, they don't want to deal with it.
Nah.
They just don't want to deal with it. But I'm not going to stop. But a lot of them just don't want to deal with it. And my children, like I've also spoken before, my children have been traumatized as well at a young age. I'm also an ex-felon. So I am at a point where, what are you going to do? Judge me? Okay. And next.
Right.
I've been very blessed and fortunate because I've been given another opportunity and chance by the spiritual creator himself. So I'm appreciative of that, and I want to use that and do the best that I can.
Absolutely. That's all you can do. Be the best person you can be. You can't be perfect. No one's the creator. No one be perfect.
Absolutely.
You can strive to be, but you can't be that. But all you can do is try your best.
Absolutely.
And I think it goes back to the first question you asked about my why. And that's what it has to do with. I had to break past shame, guilt,
right?
And I wanted to, in my own judgment, worried about other people's judgment. So that's why that book sat there in the computer for years, because I was like, what are they gonna think if they learn that I, started having sex?
Absolutely.
Or that,
right.
But I said, if it can save somebody else's life, then I'm open to it. And I'm fortunate to get to speak at, schools and churches. So I think you do need to come to the West Coast because they're open. They're open.
That is so awesome. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's time to get our bus to California so we can make some things happen.
Absolutely. Make more things happen.
Right.
Yes. They are.
And so the churches, that's good. And the schools and stuff, we need to get into those schools. We need to start helping like you said, Destiny, you have a lot of the youth that's having sex at an earlier age. Free for all. They just have no guidance
and no self-respect.
No self-respect. They don't love themselves because they probably weren't taught that. They're probably raising themselves, and so they need guidance.
Yes. Poetry saved my life. And so I'm just trying to help others avoid some of the pitfalls that I experienced and show it through my artistic expression as much as possible, and again, I can't wait for us to talk more offline because there's so many similarities, a poem that I'm not doing it today. I do have one more for y'all if you end up asking.
Okay, cool. Yes, definitely.
But tomorrow is actually the anniversary of my brother's committing suicide, and he was 12 years old.
Wow.
That's the I Have a Dream Day. That's the day that our President Barack Obama got up and did his speech. So it's a monumental day. Emmett Till got killed on that day. I know everything there is to know about August 28th, but that's the day I found my brother, dead. And it was my first year, my junior year, and his first year of junior high school, so it's like we have to pay attention to our young people, our males and females.
Got to.
Yes.
So I wrote a poem for him, and because of that, and so poetry really it's been my outlet, and it's now my entrepreneurial endeavor. So I'm thankful.
Absolutely. Sorry to hear that about your brother, though. Man.
It's, and it's real.
And it's real in the black community. You know, it's definitely going up, the rate.
Right.
Yeah.
The suicide rate is very much high in our black community. The mental health or mental illness is very high. The addictions are very high.
The homes are broken.
Homes are broken. Homelessness.
Right.
It's at an all-time high. Them not getting educated, like dropouts here globally.
It's everywhere, man.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Something got to be done, though. It's just no excuse at this point. Something has to be done. I mean, because you see it all the time. Like, you know, when does it end? You know, the cycle just keeps repeating itself. Yeah. It's just an ongoing cycle.
And what can we do as a community?
That's my question. That's always been my question.
Right. What can we do as a community to come together and not feel like, well, it's not my family, so it doesn't matter. But it doesn't have to be blood. These are our brothers and sisters
suffering.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's just so much. It's like, again, I go back to always saying, I mean, I understand that we have enemies, we have oppositions that want to keep our people down and keep us in this system where we are controlled, but at the same time, are you going to let that define your whole life? Are you going to let that define the way you going to let it define your quality of life? Like, what are some ways that you can kind of, work around that? Okay, so if the community is in poverty, but what can a community do to come together to kind of solve the poverty? That's my question. Or, okay, like you were saying, the kids are dropping out. It's a bunch of dropouts. So what can the older people of the black community do to intervene in that? You know what I mean? Like, we need to be creating our own schools. We need to be creating our own, finance. We need our own economics. We need to have a lot of programs that deals with mental health, and even have after school programs. Even teach, and then another thing too, going back to knowledge of self. A lot of them don't have knowledge of self.
Right.
We need to be teaching that a lot more, because if you know who you are, where you come from, then that's the foundation right there. And then you got to have spirituality too. Yeah. But if you combine those, then that can guide you on what you need to do. But it's a many of things that we need in the community. Proper food. Again, proper education. We need economics. Yes. Work on mental illness. And I think with mental illness, I think therapy is great, but I think at some point, families need to actually come together, sit in a room, and lay it out on the table.
Yes.
Just lay it on the table.
Yes.
Seriously, it's hard. I know it's hard. It's very uncomfortable too. But that cycle got to be broken. It has to. Like, how long is the black community gonna keep holding on to everything?
Right.
So somebody got to break the ice.
I think that's a great suggestion, having the families come together and just having a real conversation, whether somebody has to facilitate that or what, because, people think they don't understand each other, or they're so different. There's so many barriers that keeps them from talking, but it's crazy, because I have a poem, and I can't find the poem to save my life, but I'm going to find it. It's more like a poetic speech. And I quote all these philosophers, and it starts off by just saying, what is the solution? And I go through all of these different elements, because it's not just one thing. I talk about health and mental health. I talk about, economics. I talk about spirituality. So I talk about all those areas, and the fact that it takes all of that for us to get corrected. Yes. It's not just one thing or one.
Absolutely.
And so even when it comes to circulating our dollars in our community, I love the fact that you're shining have the guest here, and that we can help feed each other. This is a part of Black economics right here,
That's right. Absolutely. Just by doing this small thing, you got to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
For real, man. But Black people think, it's all in all. Like, it just ain't no hope. And that's not the mentality you want.
Right.
In order to get out of that condition, you gotta believe, you gotta have faith, and you gotta do it. You gotta try.
Yeah.
You never know. You don't know what it's gonna come out of until you try.
That's it.
But you know, we have a tendency to give up so easily on everything. So
Yeah.
And it's also a shame when we're looking to support our Black-owned businesses, and a lot of us have that mentality like, why are you charging what you're charging?
oh man.
But you're standing in the line to get the Jordan sneakers and the Michael Kors
and all this name brand
and all
clothes and
this
shoes,
name brand,
blowing your money in the club and
not paying your rent because you took your rent money to go.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
going
It's
to all
just,
these expensive old concerts. And
yes,
I mean, the list goes on. You blow money
Spending
on weed.
300 plus to see Bey and Jay-Z.
Because that's what they saw yesterday.
Yes.
But they ain't got their rent paid.
But it's true because a lot of times people, they do that. They take their mortgage or they take their rent
That's
or their
crazy.
utility bills, because we've heard it.
Priorities is messed up.
Yes, their priorities is so messed up. I'm not saying that you can't go out and enjoy and have a nice
But
time,
handle that business
but handle
first.
your business at home first.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, what's happening at home? I mean, my the second piece that I want to do for y'all, you mentioned in my bio, and it's called "Grown and Sexy." It's a single that I have out right now. Like you said, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, anywhere you can hear "Grown and Sexy." But so many things that we've talked about in this conversation, I say it in there. We have to intervene and work together because they got it confused, and I talk about who know how to raise their kids and handle business for the real multitaskers. Right. So I talk about that. Where are our priorities? What happened to
Absolutely.
That's what Grown and Sexy is about. And I try to say what Grown and Sexy actually really is, because people think Grown and Sexy is going and getting those Jordans, the newest Jordans, or the fact that I went to the concert. No, that's not Grown and Sexy.
No.
Sexy, right.
And to be real with you, you making a white man rich.
That's true.
So where's the black power at? Where's the black economics? You making another race rich. It's just the truth.
It's true. It's true. It is.
I mean, what is it? Nothing to say.
Mm-hmm. If you would like to give us that piece, we would love to hear that.
Okay, I would love for that. So I'm gonna let my son cue up the music, and y'all tell me if the levels sound okay for you, because I want it playing a little bit, but I want you to be able to hear me. And then Terrence, can you try to adjust the play? Yeah, turn that light switch on. Yeah.
These bugs are eating me up.
I see.
All right.
They love you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear the music? Can you hear the
Not
music?
yet. Yes, I can hear it now.
Okay. Okay, start it over for me. All right, sorry.
That's okay.
That's all right.
All right. Here we go. This is Grown and Sexy. Again, it's on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music. Let's play. Okay. This is produced by Ivy Johnson. This is for the grown and sexy. The ones that can remember the day when communities used to exist, when adults could correct other people's kids. See, this is for the grown and sexy. The ones that can express attraction through action and not just through words. The ones who can dance without touching and fight without weapons and disagree without throwing dirt. See, this is for the grown and sexy. The ones who believe in honor amongst thieves. For the ones who still believe in chivalry. This, I repeat, this is for the grown and sexy. So this is for the So that's me singing the hook. And if you get it, you'll be able to hear me sing it, but I'm not going to do it right now.
Okay, then jamming and everything. I'm over here, there bobbing my head.
Right.
Jay bobbing her head.
Okay.
Like we grooving in the
Yeah,
house.
right.
All right. It's for the grown and sexy. The ones who know what real music is. The ones who know how to raise their kids and handle business. For the real multitaskers who are actually about it. See, these other generations, they may not understand how we can say that we have been there, and they may not comprehend how there really is nothing new under the sun. See, we can spot a snake from a mile away, and how we can shut the nonsense down with the words we say. So this is for the grown and sexy. So is that you, the grown and sexy?
Grown and sexy.
Okay.
Yeah. Grown and sexy.
Try to put the fingers in it. Oh, grown and sexy. I ain't gonna lie, I'm about to start rapping. I mean, I can actually rap though. I mean, I took a break from my career, but you make me get back into rapping again.
Come on with it, man.
I mean, I ain't got nothing tonight, but you inspiring me to get back into my passion.
I love that. I love that.
Anytime I hear any kind of music, wherever it's coming from, whether it's you or just on YouTube, anywhere I hear, or I might hear someone actually in person, singing or whatever, it inspires me to really get back on my game.
Mm-hmm. It's in you, so don't hold it back. Don't hold it back. That's why I'm on the path doing what I'm doing. I want to inspire, because when these are our gifts. We have stories.
Yeah,
that's right.
To receive, so that's what I'm about.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to ask you what other. Oh my. Okay. What other what other books have you written?
So far, I'm actually just working on my series. So the first one was Baby, You Should Wait a While. The second one was Baby Boy, You Should Wait a While, which was actually a little lengthier than the girls' version, because I give them both perspectives. I can't talk from a male's perspective, but to the male, I can talk from the female's perspective, and then I can talk to the males. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what I did.
Right. Yes.
With them, like, hey, this is how we might feel if you do, this or that. And then I also encourage them just in general. And so it's actually a series. I'm going to do one for the Christians, because like you shared in your experience, Jade, how, you were shunned because of your pregnancy. And, there's so much going on in churches, and I'm a believer, but I have to keep it real. If we stay silent, it's going to help our babies. We shouldn't shun them. Back in the day, kids were being married off at 14 and 16,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They were. You're right.
We have to establish some kind of order.
Maturing, your body is saying, hey,
Yeah.
So I'm writing one where I kind of do biblical references, and I'm writing one for those who struggle with sexuality, issues, or if they have different preferences. So I don't want to just be, one-sided. I'm trying to cover array of things. So I'm just doing the Wait a While series. That's what I'm working on.
Oh, that is so awesome. Do you interview people for that? For your books, or do you just... I would love to be a part. I would love to be a part of that. People keep asking me, why don't I write a book? It's in my head.
You should write a book.
It's in my head, and I've been told, okay, write.
Just write some.
Somewhere I'm not connecting, but I've always wanted to kind of. Actually, I was supposed to be in someone's book, but nevertheless, moving forward, I would love to be like because so many people always have their interpretations like, oh, if you just get a man, everything will be okay. And my thing is, baby, I didn't had men. So it's not that
at all.
It's deeper than that. And I try to tell people that's just a small piece of me. There's so much more of me that I don't even focus. Like I don't even focus on that. Like it's so much more to me.
It shows you how closed-minded people are.
Absolutely.
And ignorant. Gotta put the ignorance. Yeah. Gotta put that word in there.
Right.
Because everybody is individual. There's individual cases, and you have to just really try to know a piece of that person. And like I tell people, I've been hurt physically, verbally, financially from male and female. So I should be a monk somewhere. I mean, if I really dislike people like that. And that's real. That's real.
That's real rap.
So,
like you about to say real rap.
I thought that Philly about to come out real rap. So
these Johns don't know my story.
Yeah, these Johns don't know, and it's just I getting older, getting wiser, getting more spiritual, becoming more conscious, understanding things in a different way than I did growing up. I only want to be around positive people. I choose to no longer have time to be around negative, miserable people because you're doing nothing for me. People don't like when you're on that path of doing good things. They don't like that. They feel jealous. They change on you. You lose friends.
A lot of them.
And it's like, okay, well, maybe you weren't meant to be in my life at all.
True.
It is unfortunate, but that's why I love that you said, just being around the right circle. And so, I've been blessed there. I have a lot of people who don't like me. Even though I have nothing but genuineness in my heart, I'm a genuine person. I love to see people win. I love to help people win. It's just a part of DNA, but everybody's not like that. So getting yourself in the right communities, in the right circles,
absolutely,
it's so valuable. But I would encourage you, Jade, if you want to write a book, write it. Take your other page content. Your you said what did you say? Aisha Speaks Jade. What did you say your other page was called?
My other Facebook page is called Aisha Speaks Jade. That's where I'm pretty much a public speaker. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like you could possibly take that content and turn that into your book, but to answer your question, you just start thinking about that. So you have plenty to say and you have a story and you have people who are already, needing to hear that story. And so, but to answer your question with the Weight of Water series, I've been asked over and over to do that, to begin to interview and to pull more like, a collective of stories. So I am seriously considering saying that. In that, and others, I'm going to openly invite when I begin that part of the process. So my books have been kind of resting though, because I've been working on the single. I've been working on my EP project and a lot of the side of it, but they're there. They're on my website, so if you have teens, boys or girls, they're both up, ebook and a hard copy.
So anyone that's listening, please go support Destiny Robbins' book and her music.
Yes.
Whatever she provided, please go check it out. Okay, yes. Support her. Support. Walk in your destiny.
Hashtag walk in your destiny.
Yeah, she had the phone number up there. She had the email and she has social media. So make sure you go like, follow, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Please support her. Buy a book, buy music. Check it out.
Yes.
Where are your books at? Are they just on the website, on the social media that I see right there, or are they on Amazon as well?
The best deal that you're going to get is at destinyrobbins.com. However, they are on multiple outlets. They are on Amazon. You can get them through Kindle, probably dang near any bookstore that you can think of, like online and stuff. It's out there. It's available, but you're going to get the best deal from my website, destinyrobbins.com.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Because it's buying back into you. That's how I see it.
That's true.
Go right to the source, people. Right to the source.
Yes.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what would you say? What are your final words that you would say for our youth or our teens, our millennials? Just
words of encouragement.
Words of encouragement.
Yeah.
Honestly, I want y'all and I want everybody to be on the lookout for my EP project at the end of the day, because it's called I Am Woman. And in that, I talk about a lot of different things that I experienced as a woman, you know, and it's part one. So it's going to be like a continued type of thing, because there's so many experiences that a woman can go through. I've been through so many different experiences, you know, and so I'm not only just doing that to plug stuff because it's true, but this is the statement. I am woman. You have to know who you are. Earlier, y'all said that, like you said that there's not a lot of knowledge of self. There's not a lot of knowledge of self, and there's not a lot of love of self. So I am for real. It's one of those statements. This one says, worship our maker across nations. I am woman. I'm trying to I want it to be a movement. And it's not just for women, of course. I mean, it's for, you know, males, it's for anybody. But the biggest thing, we have to love and appreciate ourselves. Flaws and
absolutely.
Flaws and all. I take everything that anybody can say as a negative against me, and I use it to make a positive. And that's what I want our young people and anybody to do. Oh, you have a problem reading? Okay, well, I bet I can speak though. So let me show people that I can speak something positive into their life. You know, you know, you used to be addicted. Okay, but there's several other people who have addiction issues. So let me go and, you know, connect with them and talk about my journey and how I was able to come out. You know, oh, I had a baby out of wedlock. Yep. But now I can go and talk to a bunch of teens who are struggling with, you know, sex and whatever. So whatever it is, negative, you can use it to a positive. You are who you are, and there's nobody else in this world that is you. So that's my message.
Could you one more time for the listeners just give your social media again for us?
Absolutely. So definitely I encourage everybody to just subscribe to my website. That's destinyrobbins.com, and that's with 2 B's, destinyrobbins.com. And or you can also check me out on at WalkInYourDestiny, one word. That's on Facebook and Instagram. Walk in Your Destiny. YouTube is also Walk in Your Destiny. You can find me there. I just, if you're local or even if you're not, I have a text number. If you want to just keep up with what I do, you can text the word Destiny to 797979. So I have so many different ways to connect with me. I can text back through that number. You can just keep up with what I'm doing. So please share everything. Share this video. Share this message if you found anything.
Yes.
Please do. Absolutely. Thank you for providing all your social media and giving words of encouragement all at one time. Yes. We appreciate you for coming on the show. It was a great one at that.
Absolutely. It's just, you never know what a person goes through until you hear their story. And I thank you for sharing that, because a lot of times that can be difficult for a lot of people to do.
Yeah.
But once people start sharing their stories, that's the start or the journey of healing and recovery. It really, really is. So you guys make sure that you look out for Destiny and get connected with her social medias. Her bio is also on our website, which is www.chitchatchewshow.com. Again, that's www.chitchatchewshow.com. It's also, this show, after we're done, is going to be on our Facebook page, which is Chit Chat Chew Show, LLC. So please, it's all about, we're not saying you stop whoever you want to, we're encouraging you to please support your Black-owned businesses out here.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Be about it.
Be about it. Be about it.
I'm all about your word is your bond for me. I'm old school when it comes to that. And if you can't do that for me, then I have to push you to the side. So support Black-owned businesses, whatever, whether it's a podcast or a brand speaking,
T-shirt, clothing company,
whatever
construction
it is,
company, whatever.
Whatever
you own a nail shop, if you own a hair shop, if you own a health, if you provide health services or you have a health shop, it doesn't matter what it is.
Does not matter.
Black people, we gotta support each other. Oh, and please, Black people, please have good ass customer service and communicate, because some of these businesses is poor. I mean, I'm all about supporting Black businesses, but if you have shitty customer service and you're not giving the customers what they need as far as the products, I'm sorry, I'm not supporting that.
Well, I do. Well, I mean, I do believe that customer service is very key in everything.
That's a deal breaker.
That is very key.
Because listen, Black people, when I talk with people, I tell them all the time, there is no room for fuck us Black people, especially in business. I'm serious. Like, as Black people, there is no fuck us, because the stripes are already against you anyway when you come in the door. Yes. So you want to be steps ahead of everybody else. Every race, you want to be steps ahead. You want to be on point at all times.
Yeah, it's true.
You can't be slipping. And then you wonder why people judge you. Other outside people judge you because they're looking at how you carry yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I just encourage Black people. There's nothing wrong with supporting Black business. I'm not saying don't, because we encourage it all the time to support Black businesses. I'm saying keep a good rep. Communicate, be respectable, be professional. That's the number one thing. And everything will be fine. Mm-hmm. Because like you said, Jay, all it takes is one person to spread the word about your business.
Yeah. And that could really break you.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. I'm being hard because that's tough love. I'm showing y'all tough love. I'm not gonna be stroking your ego, holding your hand. We got to tighten up, Black people. That's just a message I wanted to put out there.
So again, good people, thank you for liking and leaving comments. We really do appreciate you. Remember, check out Destiny Robbins. She left her social media. There's no excuses. Let's support and encourage and uplift each other.
Right.
With that being said, thank you once again, Destiny. Would like to talk to you offline if you're still open to it. I'm open to it and hope to, have some type of connection in the near future.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So with that being said, good night, kids.
Good night, kids. Good night, Destiny.
Good night,
Robbins.
Destiny.
Bye.
Thanks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Tuning into the show.
Right here?
Yeah.
Good night, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Peace, love, and hair grease.
Peace out.